Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Damontae bringing you a banger. Don't forget to go follow on my Twitch, please. Here you will never miss out on daily payday content. The Armorer M60 build, and the prick deck abilities look like this. The first card in the deck is being Type 1 Armor, which is giving you a 10% armor increase. The second card in the deck is called Type 2 Armor, which is giving you an additional 10% armor increase, now getting you to 20% increased. The next to fall in line is Type 3 Armor, which you gain an additional another 10% armor increase, now getting you to a 30% increase. Next that is followed by Reinforced Armor, which is giving you a 10% armory recovery rate, and when your armor breaks, you're immune to health damage for 2 seconds, and this has a cooldown for 15. And then the last card being Liquid Armor, which you gain in another additional 5% armor. You reduce the armor recovery time for you and your team by another 10%, which that now gives you a 35% armor increase to your base value of 221, now getting to 280 armor. Also, this build was featured inside of my best armorer builds video. For some reason we call this build the Armorer M60, but it doesn't actually use the M60 weapon. You see, originally this build had the M60, but it just performs better with what it has now. So having an LMG helps crowd control. If you're a good enough gunner, you will understand how to effectively deal with crowds of cops and staggering them with shock and awe, dealing enough damage to them to naturally have them stagger and like roll around on the ground. Killing prioritized cops that are aiming at you, rather than just shooting at everything, and that's what's going to keep you alive. Now playing this style, which has the AK that has 75 rounds in it, it does have much higher accuracy than the LMG. It has 100 stability, unlike the LMG. You can aim down the sights, unlike the LMG. You can use your sight for distance shooting. You'll be able to aim down your sights faster because of the skills. You'll have the ability to reload quicker. You'll have, to reload more often than an LMG, but since it's much quicker, it's not going to be as, crucial to you. But with all that being said, you have 75 rounds being reloaded at a faster time than an LMG is getting, let's say, 200 rounds. But if you were to break it down, if you have 75 rounds being sprayed and then you have to reload your 75 rounds and you spray them again, that's essentially 150 rounds. But that doesn't, say that it's going to be faster than the LMG, or it doesn't mean that it's going to be faster or more better than the LMG. It's just putting it into perspective. So what I enjoy about using this build is that you have the ability to sustain the assault wave at a distance that will keep me from busting my armor in every engagement. Since I have the accuracy to hit them from range, you will mostly try to do all your fighting from range. While at close range isn't an issue with either the weapons that you're using, the primary can drop plenty of cops before you have, empty your mag, but the SMG has huge damage. The SMG I choose is 100 damage and I have the 79 bullets inside of the magazine. So the style is the same as the primary. You roughly kind of play like an LMG, but it's an SMG. So the SMG is mostly for like dozers and mostly to refill your primary weapon. It is very useful to pull out if you're getting surrounded and you need to clear out some cops to make space to move, because as I mentioned, it's the more damaging weapon of the two. Now let's get into the skills for the build here. We grab ourselves Stable Shot for stability increase for both our weapons. We grab Rifleman for the snap to zoom. We do grab ourselves Underdog Aced for that possible 3-shot. We grab ourselves Iron Man for ICTB, with Rao grabbing Resilience and Shock and Awe, and Bullseye. I do grab myself Body Expertise. We'll mostly be shooting for the head in this build, but it is nice to have, damage be put onto the body. We grab ourselves Unseen Strike for extra damage, which is paired with our Zerk here in a moment. We grab ourselves the Professional, which is giving us accuracy and stability increase, and a snap to zoom increase. Then as I mentioned, we grab ourselves Zerk with Pumping Iron for the dozers. And I'd like to mention real quick that the lock and load is in this build because you have two weapons that are using large magazines, so it'll make it much easier for you to play with them.
I'm dead. No, I ain't.
Now, honestly, your choices in primary here are multiple that have the quad stack mag, and multiple that can play the same method here. I personally just went for the AK, and I kind of designed the build around a Russian style. So we use the modern barrel for that 2 damage increase. For the barrel increase, we're using the Kxng long suppressor, which is giving us 12 accuracy and 4 stability. For the boost, we're giving ourselves an accuracy increase. For the extra, we do use the scope mount, which is giving us a stability. If you don't use the scope mount, your sight will be in the front of the gun, which is kind of just awkward to use. The foregrip we use is the Keymont rail, which is giving us accuracy and stability. For the gadget, I think we use the military LED for the stability. The grip, we're using the plastic AK grip, which does minus stability, but we're already at 100, so it doesn't really affect us too much. So, bonus to accuracy there. For the magazine, as we've mentioned earlier, you have, multiple guns that have the quad stack. I just went personally for the AK. As for sights, you have multiple options. I go for the Seymour, it's personal preference. As for the stocks, you have a couple options here that you can go through. I went for the classic wood stock, which is giving us accuracy and stability increases. Alternatively, you could go for something like the wooden sniper for more accuracy, but you're already at 100. And as for the secondary, you could choose the other 100 damage SMGs, but we went for this one. We go for the bigger, better suppressor for accuracy stability. As for the boost, we go for accuracy. Since the gun doesn't actually reach 100, this accuracy does help us, but our skills will reach 100 when using the gun. As for the gadget, we use stability increase for LED combo. For the grip, we're using the plastic grip for 8 accuracy increase while keeping 100 stability. And as for the sights, it's purely optional. We go for the Seymour. Inside the ICTB, you're capable of getting 3-shot armor, and this is how. You will need to have Frenzy for 25% damage reduction, and that will change to 25 into 168. Now, you'll need a 10% damage reduction either from first aid kits and or underdog to knock off another 22.5 from the 225 damage value, making it a 146.25 damage as the total being taken to you. Now, 280 minus 146.25 is going to leave you with 133.75. If you are to hit a bullseye aced for 25 armor, that will make your 133.75 plus the 25 armor to be a 158.75. That 158.75, if taking a 146 again, you'll be left with 12.5 armor, meaning that's a 3-shot armor from this method, which is Frenzy, First Aid Kits, and or Underdog for 10% damage reduction. The next method is Crew Chief, offering you more armor and more damage reduction, so right off the rip it's just an easy 3-shot consistent without needing the trigger of a bullseye, ace, or needing First Aid Kit damage reduction or Underdog. It's just right off the rip from the Crew Chief. The next method is Maniac, giving you 48 absorption. I have 280 armor value, minus the 168, which is Frenzy, and if I have 24 absorption pulled off of 168, it now makes it 144. So 280 minus 144 equals 136 armor value. So if you hit a bullseye ace for 25 armor value in this situation, that'll leave you with 3-shot armor, because 136 plus the 25 will equal 161. The 161 minus another 144 will equal out to be 17, which there's your 3 shots. The last method is being tag team's absorption of 20 points, which is very similar in the other ways. You have 280, minus the 168 of Frenzy, so if you remove the 20 points from the 168, it is now 148. So 148 to the 280 leaves you with 132. So if the player hits a bullseye for 25 armor value, you get 157, which is 132 plus 25, which is what equals 157. So the 157 minus a 148 will equal 9 armor, which gives you 3-shot armor inside of the tag team method. So to point it out, the 10% damage reduction is near equal to getting the 24 absorption from Maniac, and is also similar to getting the 20 absorption from the tag team. So people want to believe that 10% damage reduction isn't worth grabbing. But now I have pointed it out that these absorption values are the same as that 10% damage reduction value. So does that mean that amount isn't worth? I'd say no, because now seeing that inside of Armorer, it can offer you 3-shot armor instead of these armor values that you can pair together. And if you pair together all of these, like the crew chief with the tag team, the Maniac, and the Armorer, they'll all be buffing each other. If you guys are interested inside the weekly build videos, you come over here to my YouTube, you go into the second section here, we'll have a full playlist with all the build videos for the weekly builds. Thank you guys for watching.